Next on NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman.
What are some of the ways ranching families work to make the transition from one generation to the next? We'll have some insight. Plus, we'll tell you about the Responsible Beef Program.
And now, NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman with host Kevin Ochsner.
Hello and welcome to NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman. I'm Kevin Ochsner. Thanks for joining us. Each and every day, the Washington, D.C. staff of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association works to advocate for policies that will benefit NCBA members and cattle-producing families across the nation. One of the biggest challenges many families face is passing the ranch to the next generation, especially when the estate tax, also known as the death tax, comes into play. NCBA's Associate Director of Legislative Affairs, Kent Bacchus, tells us working to kill the death tax is a high priority.
We're going to continue to fight to have more tax relief for our producers. The biggest priority that we continue to face is the death tax. We want to see full repeal of the death tax and make sure that's something that future generations don't have to deal with. As long as there is breath in the death tax, it'll continue to be a threat to every operation in America. Keep in mind, land values everywhere continue to rise. There's strong demand for agricultural lands, and as that happens, that continues to trip more people up into the estate tax. The most valuable asset most of our producers have is their land. And in order to pay that onerous tax, they have to sell off part of their operation, some of the equipment, or they have to take out a massive loan just to pay a tax. Instead of being able to reinvest that into their operation and to hire more people, they're having to pay a tax. It just seems to be a senseless tax, something that discourages family farming and ranching, and something we want to kill once and for all.
Also on the agenda in Washington this spring is the EPA's proposed rule on the waters of the United States. The public comment period on the rule closed last fall, and since then, the Environmental Protection Agency has been reviewing more than 1 million public comments. The National Cattlemen's Beef Association has been urging the EPA to ditch the rule because of the regulatory burden and the confusion it will cause for cattlemen and cattlewomen in virtually every area of the country.
Waters of the United States is important. It's a rulemaking that EPA proposed last year, which they're intending to finalize at some point this year, that would expand the jurisdiction of the Clean Water Act to any number of waterways across the United States, and even to things that don't currently have water in them but might convey water to other things that might be a water of the U.S. So all that stuff is now covered. And so that's why it's a big issue, because then you have issues with cattlemen and property owners. How are they going to deal with this if they have something on their land that might convey water to a waters of the U.S.? It creates a lot of issues. And the worst part about the rule is that it's not clear, it's ambiguous, it's vague. So it doesn't give us any sort of certainty onto how exactly it's going to apply when it's finalized, if it is in fact finalized by the EPA.
Some are calling the proposed Waters of the U.S. rule the biggest federal land grab in history. And Scott Yeager says NCBA is urging cattlemen and women to contact their members of Congress to press for legislation that would prevent the EPA from going forward with the rule. Now, I want to tell you about a great opportunity to support the work of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association in Washington, D.C. by bidding on a brand new John Deere Gator. NCBA is conducting an online auction of a 2015 Gator 825i 4x4 XUV. It's a machine that will do a day's work and come back for more. Bidding is simple. Just visit beefusa.org. For more information and your chance to own a John Deere Gator. The auction closes May 29th, 2015 at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. So bid now. All the proceeds will go directly to support NCBA's work on issues that impact your cattle business. Can cattle markets stay strong through the summer of 2015? We gain some insight on that question and more as Ethan Oberst with Cattle Facts joins us now. Ethan, you're an analyst in the Northern Plains. Let's begin talking about calving season. How did weather treat most folks in the Northern Plains?
Yes, sir. Mother Nature was very cooperative so far this spring. Calving season was off to a good start. Most producers, got a good start to the 2015 calf crop, so off and running.
And what's that going to mean in terms of calf calf supplies throughout the year, do you think?
Well, with the USDA inventory report on January 1st showing 600,000 more cows this year, and anticipated 2015 so far showing expansion again this year, we anticipate a larger calf supply heading into the fall, and obviously that is going to weigh on calf prices a little bit. Calf prices are going to follow a little bit more seasonal pattern this year, making that cash low in the October-November time frame and peaking through the summer.
Well, so put that in terms of what people should be thinking about in terms of their marketing strategy.
Yes, sir. That tells us that marketing those calves earlier this year rather than later is probably going to be a better strategy. Getting those calves to market kind of through that when calf supplies are a little bit low before that fall run, it can bode well for your calf prices this year.
Let's talk about the feeder end of things. We anticipate kind of the lowest cattle numbers in terms of feed yards this year in 2015, as I understand. What does that mean in terms of feedlot profitability?
Feedlot profitability is going to be a little tough this year. We're not going to quite see the run-up that we saw last fall. We anticipate making a summer low, along with the seasonal this year, right there in the mid-140s, trending higher to steady through the fall. So feedlot profitability is going to be a little bit tougher, but should still be a strong market.
Very good. It's interesting. We always talk about 140s being low, but historically, that's still pretty high prices.
Historically, that's a very strong market. Yes, sir.
And what about the grain markets? Do you anticipate them continuing to moderate throughout the year?
Yes, sir. So far, we're off to a great start on planting. The weather has cooperated. We're getting some rain now, so most of the corn belt should be up. Getting some emergence here. In the next few weeks. As long as Mother Nature participates with us this year, should have a large crop again. And should have moderate corn prices going forward.
And the same true for hay?
Yes, sir. Obviously, we'll depend on see kind of what rain happens here this summer, but it's anticipated to be a steady hay crop as well.
Nathan, I want to talk about consumer demand for a minute. Sir. Obviously, we've hit record high retail prices for beef. What's your sense? Is that dampening consumer demand for beef?
We haven't seen that yet. Retail prices are high. Demand still remains strong. That's really going to get tested here going forward with anticipated larger fed cattle supplies, fed beef supplies hitting the markets here, in the second half of 2015. We also have a little bit of pressure on that demand from competitive proteins. Poultry and pork are both showing year-over-year increases in production, and that should weigh a little bit on beef demand, but that's yet to be seen here.
Very good. Thank you so much for coming to the show and sharing with us your insight. If you'd like to know more about the market outlook for 2015, go to the website CattleFacts.com. And remember, you can see video replays of these and other stories at our website. That's cattlemantocattleman.org. Still ahead on this edition of NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman, we'll share insights from a cattleman's college session on generational transfer of ranching assets. And later, we'll tell you about a program for Merck Animal Health called Responsible Beef. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
You're watching NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman on RFD TV. Sure, cattle bring in the profits, but Case IH equipment helps you do everything else.
Well, I think a rancher has to be a steward of the land. There's nobody else that can take care of land better than a rancher can, because he has to make his living off of it. When we switched over to the Purina products, it was a step in the right direction. And it's really been profitable for us. It just makes that much of a difference.
The difference we see in the cattle is the consistency of their nutrition. They don't go up and down drastically in weight. Every head on this ranch is fed the Purina Superlix 30. If we keep them on that feed, they stay in optimum condition year-round.
The cattle hold their condition a lot better all throughout the whole year. The products they're producing are very much in line with what the rancher needs to be using to be profitable in the future. That's the best thing ever happened to us.
It does make a difference that we can see day in and day out.
Sure, cattle bring in the profits, but Case IH equipment helps you do everything else. Saddle up and make your way to Denver, Colorado for the 2015 Cattle Industry Summer Conference. This is your chance to meet with industry leadership and your fellow cattlemen and women to stay up to date on beef industry trends and policies. Registered attendees will also have access to hot topics at the issues forums. Mark your calendar for the 2015 Cattle Industry Summer Conference, July 15th through 18th in Denver, Colorado. Find out more at beefusa.org.
Welcome back. NCBA takes great pride in being the premier source of producer education, which is especially evident each year at Cattlemen's College. Cattleman to Cattleman reporter Russell Nemitz brings us a closer look at a couple of this year's classes that offered valuable advice on working with family and how to pass on an operation to future generations.
Developing a plan to transition a cattle operation from one generation to the next can be a daunting task. That's one reason why the session at Cattlemen's College on generational transfer was such a popular attraction.
Well, it's something that's kind of currently happening on our place right now, so looking for a little more insight. There's always a lot of unanswered questions, and I think everyone kind of wants to know where to turn next and how do we proceed, so just came to get a little more insight on some things like that and take some ideas back home.
It's something that I think every farm family addresses and that needs to be a priority, because you can either make or break the future of an operation by how you make those transitions.
This is a big issue, and everybody needs to do it, and I have got things in place, but there are always things that you can learn. You always pick up some good pointers and some good ideas, which I have from this session.
It's important to be proactive when establishing a succession plan, and it's never too soon to start thinking about the eventual transition of an operation to the next generation.
I think definitely just ask the questions, open up those doors. Don't do it at Christmas, don't do it at Sunday lunch. Set a special time aside, call a business meeting, a family planning session, whatever you want to call it, and make it that. Don't interrupt Mother's Day with something like this. But just go ahead and break the ice and do it.
It gave me peace of mind when I had it done, when I got things laid out and the will and everything in place, and I felt a relief. Everybody needs to do something, even a start. Get something written down and make sure that you have a succession plan.
Getting along with family members is also an important part of the succession process. And another class at Cattlemen's College focused on the techniques for maintaining successful relationships on the ranch. One important step is making sure everyone understands their role within the operation.
I think the challenge, though, is how are you going to come back in? Are you going to come back in as essentially a laborer and get 3 square meals a day and a pickup to drive, or are you actually going to move up into the management of this business? I talk a lot about allowing the younger person that's coming on these places to somehow make meaning out of it. And what I mean by that is it's important for them when they come on the operation to have the opportunity to make decisions and to be on a growth curve of their own in the family business, so that they have a chance to experience what it is to see this business maybe diversify, getting larger, adopt new technologies, whatever, but allows this farm or ranch over some period of time to kind of be their own.
It's one thing to have a plan, it's another to implement it. It's one thing to, be equal with 3 children. I've got 2 siblings. It's another thing to be fair. So, there's all sorts of questions and concerns that we battle every day when it comes to working with family. Like I say, we've talked about it, but this has prompted us to do so even more, and I'm pleased that it has.
And I think it's a lot tougher for my father, because he's got 2 sons that are still on the ranch and a daughter that's her and her husband have a place too. So I think it's very tough for him, but I think he wants a place to survive. We've been there 102 years, so want to keep seeing that going.
Family members need to work together toward common goals. The speaker stressed again that communication is the key to help develop trust and respect.
again, it's the communication part of sitting around and talking about, what are these attributes that these people are bringing to this business and to this family that are going to make this thing work.
I think it's something that often gets put on the back burner because there's so many day-to-day tasks that have to be done, but that might be the most important thing we do in our operation is sit down with our family and make plans for the future and how we will bring back in future generations and what their contributions need to be.
With a little foresight, planning, and some work, cattle producers can make sure their family operation runs smoothly now and in future generations. Reporting from San Antonio, I'm Russell Nemitz for NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman.
No doubt there's real value in thinking about the long-term future of a family farm or ranch. Now, if you'd like to learn more about the issues such as generational transfer and a wide variety of challenges facing cattle producers, why not attend next year's Cattlemen's College? It'll take place at the 2016 Cattle Industry Convention and Trade Show in San Diego next January. To find out more, visit the website beefusa.org. Still to come on Cattleman and Cattleman, we'll head to the kitchen to cook up another great beef recipe. And next, we'll head to Iowa to meet an award-winning feed yard operator. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
I have never wanted to do anything other than be in the cattle business. We use Triangle on the cows because it's been safe and effective and it's done us a good job. We're asking these cows to do more, so that has been a change. We have had just phenomenal results. We have very, very little loss. 100% of our cattle get vaccinated with Triangle.
The Peterson Farm Brothers believe all cattlemen and women should take part in the Beef Quality Assurance Program.
Beef Quality Assurance is a beef checkoff funded program that helps educate producers how to provide a more safe, wholesome, and nutritious product for consumers.
BQA encourages proper handling of cattle as well as proper vaccination techniques and much more.
It's very important that we in this industry are providing what consumers want, and that is safe, high quality, wholesome, well-produced beef. We really encourage everyone out there to get BQA certified.
Join the team today at bqa.org.
To truck guys, the truck is everything. And when you put them in charge of making an unbeatable truck, good things happen. This is the Ram 1500. The 2014 Motor Trend Truck of the Year. And first ever back-to-back winner. Guts, glory, Ram.
Welcome back. Each year, outstanding producers are honored with the Beef Quality Assurance Awards given at the Cattle Industry Convention. The winner of the 2015 BQA Feed Yard Award is an innovative family operation in Iowa that finishes about 10,000 head of cattle each year. Let's take a look.
50 years ago, I started with a calf named Tony in 4-H, and from there we've grown today to a feedlot that we're permitted for 5,200. So through the years, we've grown, we've doubled about every time that we've expanded. In Iowa, we get about 40 inches of rain a year, and so that's a very environmentally friendly thing on the crop side, but on the cattle side, when you have black dirt that's 6 feet deep, the cattle go clear to their belly. So we've experimented with the monoslope buildings, the deep bedded barns. In the growing season, we clean around the outside of each pen twice a week, and then we also add bedding twice a week. So there's always a dry place for the cattle to lay. The other thing with the monoslope building is the way the sun is. In the summertime, the cattle are completely shaded, and in the wintertime, the sun goes clear to the back. So we're trying to use that natural light and natural heat and temperature in the barns to actually give the cattle a great environment. getting more challenging every year to find employees that have the dedication and the work ethic that we're all looking for here. And when I look at the two young people here today, that doesn't come easy. And I want to make sure that they attend all those special classes. I want to make sure that they're certified in BQA.
I've been very, very pleased and very, very impressed with the adoption rate of BQA practices here. It doesn't just happen when I'm here. It's just part of the way that Bill and his crew do things out here at Kauser Cattle Company on a daily basis.
We work very closely with Iowa State University here to make sure that Dr. Terry can bring those kids out, to make sure that when they graduate, they have that well-rounded education.
Bill has a classroom up above the feed mill. It's just a great facility to have and to utilize.
When we put the Learning Center in, we really had no idea it would become what it has become today, with the amount of people from not just across the country, but from around the world that have come through and seen how we've implemented BQA in our operation.
It's really been a rewarding relationship for Iowa State and for the College of Veterinary Medicine especially, to be able to work with Bill and Nancy and the crew out here and utilize the cattle and the facilities to really teach BQA methodology as well as standards of care.
Bill Kauser and the Kauser Cattle Company are also past national winners of the Environmental Stewardship Award. Now, if you'd like to learn about the BQA Awards and the Beef Quality Assurance Program, just go to the website bqa.org. Cattlemen and women share a commitment to caring for their animals and their resources while also feeding the nation. Now, beef producers have a new ally in an effort to produce beef responsibly. Cattleman and Cattleman reporter Matt Fleck has more on Merck Animal Health's commitment to producers and responsible beef production.
Sustainability is a hot topic in the beef industry, and there are a number of efforts underway to both showcase and improve the ability of family farms and ranches to continue passing their operations to the next generation. Merck Animal Health's Responsible Beef Initiative is one of the ways the company is proving its commitment to beef producers and the industry as a whole.
About 2.5 years ago, we got together and really started looking at the word sustainability, and really realized that it didn't approach some things that we thought extremely important in the cattle industry. And so in that, we started talking about being responsible and really doing things right. So responsible beef has 4 pillars: cattle, land, community, and business. And we really felt that we had to start with cattle, because cattle is what this industry is all about. When we treat our cattle right, they return our investment in them to us. Next thing is land. Land is something we're not making any more of. And if we don't take care of the land, we don't have anything to pass down to our heirs. Next thing is community. Community really starts with family. With family, it's the people who are working operations, it's who we provide for, and it's people we do business with. It's a guy at the feed store, it's a guy at the hardware store, it's our barber, it's the teachers at school. It's the people we produce beef for. They're part of our community. And the last thing we talk about is business. And a lot of times people don't want to talk about business because it sounds like making money is a bad thing. But if you're in business, you really should make money, and that keeps your business going, and that makes all the other things, cattle, land, community, work.
Merck Animal Health is committed to helping the industry emphasize the idea that each member of the beef value chain has a responsibility to do things right. A drive to improve the viability of each operation and helping to make the beef industry more sustainable are cornerstones of the Responsible Beef Initiative.
When it comes to cattle, we care about performance, animal health, the health and well-being, and so those are probably our 3 large, I would say, cornerstones, focus points when it relates to cattle. Is we want to provide products and solutions that make cattle healthier, optimum performance, and also looking out for the well-being of those animals that we raise for food.
Beyond simply vaccinating cattle or monitoring for disease outbreaks, the Responsible Beef Initiative covers all aspects of animal care, including nutrition and low-stress cattle handling techniques.
Minimizing stress depends on everybody involved, all the way from the people that bring cattle up from pens or in from the pasture or wherever they may be. It starts from a basic level, and everybody needs to be involved and on the same page that slow, consistent handling of the cattle provides low stress.
I look at stress in cattle a lot like stress in people. If I get stressed, I've got the ability to get sick. I don't feel good. I think cattle are the same way. If we treat cattle with low stress, we're going to have fewer health problems. We're going to have fewer issues with those cattle. Their injuries are going to go way down. So it's really important to approach cattle correctly, follow the best management practices for low stress handling that you can.
Responsible Beef also covers other areas of beef production, such as helping to ensure proper administration and storage protocols for animal health products.
Proper storage and handling of vaccines is a hallmark of vaccination. If we don't deliver a product to the animal that has been handled properly or stored properly, we've really defeated the whole purpose of vaccine. There's really three main enemies to vaccine, and heat is one of them. Sunlight is another one. For different types of vaccines, modified live vaccines, actually disinfectants are an enemy. And so proper storage, how we handle them, how long we mix up modified live vaccines before we use them are keys to delivering a product to the animal that's going to have effect.
And we'll have more on responsible beef production right after this. Stay with us.
We stand for what we believe in. We believe in you. It's more than a job. It's your way of life. Who you are, where you live, and what you do. The way you treat your cattle, your family, your employees, and your neighbors. The water you drink, the air you breathe, and the ground you walk on. What you do every day gives families something to gather around every night. It's about doing what's right for your cattle, your land, your community, and your business. It's your livelihood, and it means as much to us as it does to you. We all believe in responsible beef. Let's stand together at responsiblebeef.com.
There are many great reasons to join NCBA, and that includes exclusive NCBA member discounts and benefits from some outstanding companies.
Hi, this is Kerry Bastine, president of Roper Apparel and Footwear, Stetson Apparel Boots, and Tin Hall. We are very proud sponsors of the NCBA, and for all new members signing up with the NCBA, you get 50% off your first purchase, and for all Go Forward members, you get 25% off 4 times a year. Go to urbanwesternwear.com, click on the NCBA specials, use your coupon code for your first 50% off, and come back to Urban Western Wear all year long and use your 25% coupons that you'll find in the National Cattlemen's newspaper.
Big discounts on boots, clothing, and Western apparel is just one of the many amazing deals you get as an NCBA member. Don't miss out. Join NCBA today and enjoy these exclusive member discounts. Find out more at beefusa.org.
Welcome back. Now let's head back to Colorado and reporter Matt Fleck with more on the Responsible Beef Program.
Adherence to BQA, Beef Quality Assurance Guidelines, also plays a significant role in the Responsible Beef Initiative.
BQA guidelines that cattle feeders should follow for vaccination are simple. Number one, always give vaccines in front of the shoulder. There should be no reason for a vaccine to ever given behind the shoulder. Proper restraint of the animal is necessary for that, and modern chutes give us no reason to not give that vaccine in front of the shoulder. Number two, if you're giving multiple vaccines on the same side of the animal, a good rule of thumb is 1 hand's breadth between the injection sites. Number three, use the proper needle for the type of vaccine and the administration that you want to give. A subcutaneous vaccine should be using a needle of 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch in length. An intramuscular vaccine should use a needle that's 1 inch to 1.5 inches in length. And so the proper equipment, the proper placement, and the proper time is important for vaccine.
The sustainability of the beef industry rests not only on taking care of animals and the land, it also hinges on the ability of cattlemen and women to make the most of their resources, including feed, as they work to produce more beef using fewer resources than in the past. Technologies, such as growth-promoting technologies, play an important role in improving feed conversion, lowering the inputs required to produce today's beef.
When we talk about implants and environmental stewardship, to me, they're right there in the middle of the cornerstone of what producers do. Maybe people don't realize it as much in terms of what these producers do and how they care for their land. But a technology like implants, they use fewer resources in terms of improving feed conversion. So the feed we put in front of them is utilized better. And so again, the bottom line is we get more beef with less resources. So let's take two animals, one's implanted and one's not, and one has a Revelar in its ear and one doesn't. And so the one that has Revelar is going to weigh about, let's say, 100 pounds more at a certain time. So it finishes at 100 pounds more, and if we don't implant that animal and we want to achieve the same weight out goal, then we're going to have to feed that animal about 25 more days. So 25 or 30 days at 20 pounds of intake is going to be 500 pounds of feed. So for a non-implanted animal, we're going to have to produce 500 more pounds of feed to get to that same weight that a Revelar implant provided. And so I think that should put it in terms that's easy for people to understand when we talk about implants and what they do from an environmental standpoint, as well as less resources, is that, just vision that 500 pounds of feed that would be required for a non-implanted animal to get to that same finished weight.
To help producers better understand the 4 pillars of the Responsible Beef Program and how they can help make an operation more sustainable, Merck Animal Health has a website, responsiblebeef.com. The website provides resources to guide continuous improvement and to help producers ensure the success of their individual operations.
If we don't care for the animals the way that they deserve to be cared for, they're not going to provide to us. And really, we shouldn't be in the industry. If somebody is abusing animals, they shouldn't be in this industry. They should be doing something else. And so it's that responsibility really comes back to every individual and treating animals the way that they really should be treated, with care and well-being and a lot of love.
Well, I hope they see what Merck Animal Health is doing in trying to raise the awareness of, other than just selling a product that we manufacture. I hope they understand that, we're in the beef industry as well, and we're passionate about cattle. We're passionate about the land. We're aware of the resources that we're trying to save and, raise more beef with less resources. The communities that these feed yards and these cattle producers, ranchers, farmers, stocker operators all participate in, it's important to us as well. We're part of those communities. And then the business that they provide, all those things, again, at Responsible Beef are just important. And so we hope that people embrace those things that are dear to their heart as dear to our heart.
Reporting from Colorado, I'm Matt Fleck for NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
For more information on the Responsible Beef campaign, check out Merck Animal Health's website at responsiblebeef.com. We'll be right back.
Dr. Harold Newcomb of Merck Animal Health explains how producers can deworm their pasture with strategically timed pasture cattle treatments.
What you're trying to accomplish with a strategic deworming program is to actually deworm the pasture. And what you want to do is reduce the parasite burden on the pasture. And if you're in the deep south and you're a cow-calf producer, you can do this by deworming the cattle 6 to 8 weeks after grass puts out, and then do it again with one of the non-handling forms about 6 to 8 weeks later. If you're a stocker guy, it's day 0, 28, and 56. The day 0, you use the combination. 28 and 56 days, you use one of the non-handling forms. The nice thing about Safeguard is we have a form that will work in just about any producer's operation. The benefits from doing this, if you're a cow-calf guy, come in the form of increased conception rates, greater weaning weights. If you're a stocker guy, it's actually about a 30 to 40 pound advantage over a grazing season.
If you have questions about strategic timing for pasture deworming with Safeguard, contact your local veterinarian, animal health provider, or your local Merck Animal Health representative.
Overcoming adversity is part of the job, and loyalty isn't a word you just use, especially when everything is on the line. You've had good times and stood strong in leaner years. We've always been right there with you. Introducing the John Deere Livestock Loyalty Program. Special savings is our way of saying thanks for investing in John Deere.
It's a fast-paced world for everyone these days, especially for families. And making meals fast is sometimes a requirement. Christopher Geigel is with us today from the Beef Culinary Center, and he's going to tell us a little bit about a quick stir-fry recipe that works perfectly for busy families like ours. Is that right, Chris?
That's right. We have a sweet and sour beef stir-fry that was a State Beef Council-inspired recipe.
Outstanding.
So it's a pretty simple recipe, really straightforward. The first thing we're going to do is make a little sauce.
Yep.
So I have some sweet chili sauce here.
Okay.
Going to add that to this bowl.
Yeah. A couple of tablespoons or so, huh?
About a quarter cup.
Quarter cup. Yeah.
Add a little soy sauce to that.
Yeah. Perfect.
And a little bit of rice wine vinegar.
Oh, wow. That does it.
And that does it. We're just going to stir that up a little bit.
Okay.
We're going to let that sit there for a minute.
Right.
We have our vegetables here. We have some thinly sliced red bell pepper.
Okay.
And then also some snow peas that I sliced thinly as well.
I was wondering what those were.
Yeah, so I sliced them nice and thin because they cook really quickly that way. You can leave them whole. They're just going to take a little bit longer.
I love snow peas.
So I'm going to add those to this bowl here.
Yeah.
That and then the snow peas.
You bet.
And we're going to add a little bit of our sauce to that.
Oh, okay. Even before you cook it?
Even before we cook it, we're going to let them marinate a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Just like a tablespoon or two.
Yeah.
We're going to take this same fork here and just mix those up and let them sit there. While those are marinating, we have the top sirloin, which is the beef we'll be using in this recipe.
Gotcha.
It's a lean cut, so really good for those who are looking to watch their
weight, and you bet, yeah.
Watch their weight.
Sure.
So we want the nice thin strips and small pieces for this, so we're going to take our knife and cut this lengthwise.
Okay, sure.
Like this, kind of leave them together there.
All right.
And then get some nice thin strips here.
I see. So they'll cook quickly, I suppose, and...
Yep, so they'll cook really quickly. So just a few really thin strips right there. I did some of this earlier, so I'm going to add this beef to that.
Okay, that's perfect.
So before we add it to the frying pan, we're going to take this beef and add it to this bowl.
Okay. And in total, you know, if you're cooking for a family of 5, about how much beef would I want, you suppose?
A pound to a pound and a half.
Yep.
To the beef, we're going to add some cornstarch.
Okay.
And some ginger.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yep. Right. So either finely minced ginger, or if you want to save some time in the fresh herb section in a grocery store, you can find some ginger paste already done for you.
Perfect.
And add that to that.
Gotcha. And then is this just going to make our browning or breading, or what is this
doing? So this does a few things. One of them is for flavor.
Okay.
Ginger and onions and garlic are all kind of in this aromatic family, so it adds a lot of flavor. The cornstarch adds to the browning and the flavor development, and also helps to keep the beef nice and tender.
Oh, excellent.
So we're just going to mix that up and get it all coated real nice.
Interesting.
And then we have a frying pan over here, which I started heating already, so it'd be nice and hot for us.
Sure.
Just going to add a little bit of vegetable oil to that.
All right.
Just a tablespoon or so.
Right. Because this, again, is very lean.
Very lean, so just enough so it doesn't stick and to add some browning. So we're going to take part of this meat and add it to our frying pan here. Okay. It's really important when you're doing stir fry to do small batches.
Oh, really?
You can see here that I'm not covering the entire bottom of the frying pan, but I really want to spread out the meat here. That helps to brown it. If you add too much of it at one time, you wind up steaming the beef and you wind up with this gray beef and not the nice brown color and flavor that develops.
I got you. So you're going to just do this in like several batches?
Several batches. So you'd brown this, and then once it's brown on kind of both sides there, you can see it doesn't take but a minute to get nice and brown.
Exactly.
You would then take that out and add your next batch to it onto.
I see.
And then once it's all brown, you can kind of add it all back to the pan.
I see.
So this is pretty much there.
That's outstanding. And then you're going to, do you add the rest of your sauce too, or?
Yep, so at this point, with the rest of the beef, you would add your sauce.
Yep. Very good.
And your vegetables to that.
Look at that. That's smelling and sounding great.
And then you would just serve that over ramen noodles, or if you're doing the gluten-free thing or don't like noodles, you can always serve it over rice. They have those already cooked basmati and different rices in the stores.
Outstanding, and this is our finished product. Looks absolutely delicious, and that's smelling great, by the way.
Well, thanks.
Thanks so much for bringing this recipe.
Thanks for having us.
You bet. For this and other great beef recipes, visit the website beefitswhatsfordinner.com. Or you can check them out and see video replays on our website. That's cattlemantocattleman.org.
This is yours, and so is what grows there. Not theirs or theirs, yours. You need this to fight this and this to grow more this. Because the more of this you feed them, the less this you spend on that, which leaves more of this here. Don't let them take this from you. Chaparral takes care of weeds and brush, and that's that.
Hi there, I'm Joey.
And I'm Rory, and welcome to our farm outside Nashville, Tennessee. When we go to work, whether it's on tour or here at home, we wear the West.
That's right, where it's that perfect snap shirt or that perfect pair of boots. When you wear Roper, you wear the West.
Learn more about us, Joey and Rory, and about Roper Western Wear at eroper.com.
Telling the truth and being real and feeding my family a home-cooked meal. That's important to me. That's important to me. And planting the garden and watching it grow.
Let's face it, you don't think a lot about your trailer hitch. You use it and forget it. We understand. But at B&W, we think about it. Short nights, long hauls, never-ending chores. The unthinkable. We think about it all, so you don't have to. B&W. Trusted.
If you're not using IMI Global's verification programs, you might as well set your money on fire. To give your wieners added value, no program begins without a traceable animal. Then add on BQA and other specialties, and you open up a whole new market for your calves. You might be thinking, the market's so good, why bother? You ever heard of making hay when the sun shines? You got a choice. Get in the game or visit IMIGlobal.com. America has its corn belt, its grassy plains, scenic mountains, and fertile south. And then there's California, the Horn of Plenty, #1 in the United States in ag production. They raise over 400 different commodities and produce nearly 1/2 of the fruits, nuts, and vegetables that we eat or export. Well, how do they do it? Well, for one thing, it's the 3rd largest state in the United States. It has verdant valleys, rich grasslands, 840 miles of coastline, abundant irrigation, and a good source of labor. But what is it that makes California so special? The California farmer is possessed of a mystique the rest of us sodbusters hold in awe and find unique. The abundance of their harvest, its variety and means, is impressive to a farmer who grows corn and soybeans. Now, it's not that we're not farmers in New York or Minnesota, but there ain't a sprig of artichoke in all of North Dakota, pistachios in Kansas, kiwis in Montana, or scarcer than a fig tree in the state of Alabama. And where did they get kumquats? Is broccoli Japanese? And why do all their Holstein cows speak Dutch and Portuguese? Well, the California farmer has evolved since he began. The land of milk and honey drew a simple kind of man. They arrived with expectations in their worn-out cars and boots, and they're amazed at their good fortune. They remember humble roots, because they think that they're still dreaming, not sure it's going to last, like a starving cow that overnight is belly deep in grass. So in spite of their production and high-tech economics, they're just like us. They mostly read the market and the comics. Yet the California farmer, when you turn up all the lights, ain't nothing but an Okie with a loan and water rights. This is Baxter Black, and I like them all. I like corn and eggplant, and apples, and tomatoes, and kiwis, and celery, and lettuce, and the best of all, the big green chili from out there.
Thanks, Baxter, for that tribute to our friends in California. We always enjoy our visits with you. We'll be back with more right after this.
New Holland is the undisputed leader in hay tools. We give farmers a wide range of innovative equipment that increases efficiency and productivity all year round. Because to us, smart means providing a smooth, clean cut with faster dry down, plug-free conditioning, and superior bale density. And smart means leaving less hay on the field to feed more livestock in less time. The gold standard has been raised. Visit nhfirstcut.com for a chance to win a 1-year round baler lease.
There are many great reasons to join NCBA, and that includes exclusive NCBA member-only discounts, such as savings on new equipment purchases from New Holland.
Hi, I'm Mike Corman with New Holland Agriculture, and I'm pleased here to talk about our New Holland member benefits to the National Cattlemen's and Beef Association members. New Holland offers special benefits to NCBA members where they can save up to $1,000 off the purchase of a New Holland equipment. Members can save off the purchase of New Holland hay and forage and mid-range tractors, as well as other products. We have New Holland dealers located throughout the United States. Stop into your New Holland dealer and learn more. New Holland and NCBA, smart partners for agriculture.
Savings on equipment purchases from New Holland is just one of the fantastic deals you get as an NCBA member. Don't miss out. Join NCBA today at beefusa.org.
It's the official monthly publication of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. The National Cattleman is produced exclusively for NCBA members and includes coverage of the news and events affecting our industry. Every issue includes market analysis, feature stories, and practical management tips. Start receiving your copy of The National Cattleman. Call 866-USA-BEEF or go online to beefusa.org and join today.
Welcome back. Earlier this spring, more than 200 cattlemen and women converged on Washington, D.C. for the National Cattlemen's Beef Association's legislative conference. It was 3 very effective days of boots and hats on Capitol Hill, pressing for policies that matter for all of us who raise cattle. All those folks have gone home now, and yet the work of NCBA in Washington, D.C. has carried on every day since. We asked NCBA's Director of Membership, Kate Maher, to reflect on the value of that presence in our nation's capital.
Membership dollars support our policy staff here in D.C. It's great to have the producers here. We know that you can't get away all the time. Once a year just doesn't cut it when it comes to talking to these folks. You need somebody here talking to them when you can't be here. You know, fortunately, these people are going to go home and go back to the business of producing beef, and that's what we need them to do. But we need their membership support and that financial support to keep our staff here that's working so passionately and so hard on their behalf every day, so that they know they have somebody that has their back. Yeah, you can lobby on your own behalf, but we have a staff here that does it day in and day out. They have the relationships. For $100 a year, you're buying that insurance policy that somebody is doing it for you.
Now, if you'd like to support the work of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, first join NCBA, and then consider bidding on that brand new John Deere Gator. It's a 2015 825i 4x4 XUV. Just visit beefusa.org for more information and your chance to own a John Deere Gator. Hurry, the auction closes on May 29th, 2015 at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. Time now for this week's Legacy Photos. Let's see some of those beautiful images from America's farms and ranches. Why not send us your photos? It's easy to do. Just visit our website, cattlemantocattleman.org. Include your ranch or farm name and your hometown, and we may use them on a future episode. Next week, we'll introduce you to a Texas chef who is telling the true beef story. We'll see how John Deere tractors are delivering value on farms and ranches, and we'll spend a day in the life of an Idaho ranching family. That, plus Baxter, Black, and more. Well, that's our time for this week's edition of NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next week right here on RFD TV.